Hello everyone, Minute Plus Meditation here, Monday, February the 7th. So the first reading is taken from 1 Kings. It's Solomon's dedication of the temple. From the end of the reading, and when the priests came out of the holy place, a cloud filled the house of the Lord so that the priests could not stand to minister because of the cloud, and the glory of the Lord filled the house of the Lord. Then Solomon said, "The Lord has said that he would dwell in thick darkness. I have built you an exalted house, a place for you to dwell forever." So this was the first temple built, and no temple apparently ever rivaled the first temple. It was because it's the only temple in the history of Israel that the glory cloud, I think it's pronounced Shekinah, glory cloud actually descended on this temple and only this temple, even though it was rebuilt after its first destruction, and then Herod rebuilt it again. But this was the first one was the only one. And so this was the one that was always sort of held up as the ideal temple, and it was really kind of a microcosm of the universe. It was a glorious, and that's probably understating it, building, sacred building, temple dedicated to the glory of God and to sacred worship. And that's the whole point here, sacred worship. So God, he descends in this cloud, which connotes mystery. You can't see through a cloud. You can't completely understand. God is incomprehensible. And yet, at the same time, he's intimately close to his children. So it's like God is very close to you, but don't think you can somehow manipulate him, or you can define him, or you can put him into a box. Even though God accepts of his own power and authority to sort of be localized in the temple, it was always a mistake to think that somehow he's limited to the temple. And this will become a bone of contention when, for example, Stephen in the Acts of the Apostles actually will challenge, the Sanhedrin to this point. So it just reminds us of the sacredness of the temple, and of course we can make its application even more so to our parish churches, where it's not the glory cloud, but it's actually God himself, second person of the Blessed Trinity, in the present in our tabernacles under the form of bread. It's not bread anymore. We all know this as Catholics, or you should believe this. So, and that's why we should have such reverence and respect and awe for our churches. We can get used to them way too easily, and we should never get used to them. That's why our genuflection should be done with love and affection, and like this personal love and adoration for the Lord Jesus, who is present in our churches. Okay, so moving to the gospel. What happens here, Jesus and his disciples come to the land of Gennesaret. They get out of the boat. People at once recognize him, and they bring all the sick to him that they can get. And wherever he went, into villages or cities or farms, they laid the sick in the marketplaces and begged him that they might touch even the fringe of his cloak, and all who touched it were healed. So this, again, it sort of manifests the power of Jesus sort of flowing through in this case, his physical material, because it didn't actually come in contact, with his skin. They came in contact with his clothes, the fringe of his cloak. So really, what we have here is what we would call, as Catholics, kind of something akin to the incarnational principle, that God communicates his grace to us through material reality, through material items. And we believe Jesus does this through the sacramental system. And for that matter, although sacramentals do not cause grace like the sacraments, they still can stoke grace, if you will, when they are used with faith. But the point being is that God works through material. All right, he worked through the human nature of Christ. Christ works through material, bread, wine, oil, and so on. And God even works through things like cloth, scapulars and rosaries, but in a different way, when it comes to the sacramentals. So we should also, go to Jesus and ask him to help us be healed of our sicknesses. Now, it may not be, Lord, can you take away this cold or this flu? Or, it's not wrong to pray for that. But most of us will just go through the normal course of having the cold or flu. Or even cancer. Sometimes God's quite capable of healing cancer, but normally that doesn't happen. But doesn't mean we can't pray for it. But we do so leaving it totally in God's hands. But what we should pray for always and expect is a healing of spiritual wounds. Like it could be that we have been scarred by betrayal or by abuse, all sorts of terrible things, and God will help us to heal from these things. May mean that we have to get counseling, but they work together. So Jesus continues to heal us right down to this day. So let us all approach him with a sort of expectation, of healing the wounds that are in our heart. God bless you.